Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's meeting. We are talking about ARI. It's a tool created by Citizen Health, AI tool. Um, and I'm gonna let Virginia go ahead, I guess. Yep.
Yeah, I'll introduce Nasha Fitter, who is going to present Ari today. Nasha has been a friend of our community for a long time now. She is a rare disease mom, a fierce leader and advocate. She's the co-founder of Citizen Health and also the co-founder of FoxG1 Foundation. So, Nasha, the floor is yours. Please tell us about this incredible tool that you designed for our families to help in our day-to-day crazy journey.
Yeah, thank you, Virginia. I appreciate that. So some of you may be familiar with Citizen generally because you've joined the platform and we've collected your medical records and we've used that data to help companies accelerate drug development. That is all excellent to help us get better treatments for all of us. But the day to day is still something that we struggle with. And we've always at Citizen wanted to do more for families day to day. And so, that's why we made it mandatory that we give you all the medical records, for example, and we try to find insights from them and provide them back to families. But we knew that was not really enough. And then something amazing happened called GPT, right? And all of a sudden we had all these great AI technologies, and we were finally able to do what we really wanted to do, which is use data and personalize it to help us day to day. And that's really what Ari is. It is an AI teammate. You can imagine if you were a billionaire, you might have a team of people, and all they did was, have your back and think about what you needed and what your child needed and all the different aspects of your child's care. And that's what we've really tried to democratize with this technology. So I'm going to pull up some slides and go through what is Ari, but then I love to show versus tell. And so I'm going to show you a demo of the product. Okay. All right. So let me share my screen. So let's get into it. And thank you for SYNGAP for being one of our beta, as always, our beta testers. Thank you. Okay, so I don't know if you guys realize this, news to me, because we just do this every day, but did you know that a rare disease spends 53 hours per week more than an average parent in caregiving? This is why we all get so angry when our friends with neurotypical kids complain about parenting. Now we know why. We are doing 53 hours more. So again, this is a big deal. And what Ari is really there is to support the caregiver. That's what it's there for. So we need support because we're spending all these hours supporting our kids. Okay. This is more about, why caregiving is so important. Again, why do we do advocate for our kids so much? So they have better outcomes, right? They have a higher survival rate, they're in the hospital less. All of these things happen because we are their advocates and we need support. So we've come out with something, and there's a few things that we think make this product really special. Some of you may already be using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini to ask questions now about health, etc. So you may be familiar with AI. If you're not, that's fine too. So what Ari is it's using a lot of those technologies and models, but we are making it personalized and something that's really our teammate. So one of the things about Ari you'll notice is that it comes via text. So it's not a extra app that you need to download. There is a web version, but you can get everything via text, which means you can also record and you could talk to it with your voice. So it's really, we're trying to make it as easy and interactive as possible. Now, what Ari is really set out to help with, and I'm going to go through this and then show you the demo. So one of the most important things, and what I tell everyone when you start using Ari, this is how you should start using it, is tracking symptoms. And we are all doing this right now, either in our brains, on Google Notes, Apple Notes, writing, we have binders that we take into our doctors with us. You can now dump everything into Ari and you don't have to have separate trackers. Just talk to Ari, tell Ari everything about what your child is experiencing. Had a seizure today, was really, kind of lethargic today, had fatigue today, constant, whatever it may be, you can just dump that into Ari. Ari will then document it, categorize it, and then the beauty of Ari starts shining when it starts detecting patterns in what you're saying. So it's going to watch with what you're saying and notice, okay, is there frequency issues? Have seizures increased? Do I need to let you know to send a note to your doctor, etc. So Ari can start creating trends once you start using it to track symptoms. Most of us have multiple MyChart accounts. Ari can link to all your MyCharts. It can pull in the documents from MyCharts and start pulling in things like, okay, your appointments, and it starts reminding you when you have appointments, etc. So it can do all of that. It can also draft messages for you. Now, every MyChart is different. That was also learning for me. And so for some MyCharts, Ari works flawlessly, can even go in there and send messages on your behalf. With others, it is not able to do that. So it will basically write the message and you need to go send it. But so those are some things to think about. Okay, the to-do list. All of us have a million things on our to-do list. You know, we've got things for our kids' school and nutrition, medication, whatever. Ari can really help you get on top of that and remind you of things on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, however you want to do. And we called out medication reminders because it's so important. I don't know how many of you are like me, where you wake up the night before or day of and you're like, crap, I'm out of meds. And then you're like calling the pharmacy, calling insurance, all of that. Ari keeps track of it. So it'll remind you a few days before, hey, meds about to run out, call your pharmacy, etc. One source of truth. If you've already been on Citizen, we already have your medical records. Now Ari can compile everything else. And so we really have a rich knowledge base on your child. And this is going to be very helpful. Okay, let me get going. And I'm showing you, as Virginia mentioned, I have a child with FOXG1 syndrome. So this is kind of based on FOXG1, but we have very similar conditions. And I'll go through. So as you onboard into Ari, it is gonna, you're gonna come on, and this is the first thing that Ari is gonna come out to you. And so this person's name is Maya. She has a child named Vivian. And so Ari's going to introduce yourself, and you're going to go from there. During your onboarding, you're going to let Ari know what's most important for you. Maya mentioned she's really important on research, so now Ari knows that, and Ari's going to keep that in mind, that this is what Maya really needs to know about. Ari's first going to ask, tell me more about the child. Who is she? What's she into? And it's really, these questions may in the beginning seem kind of annoying, but if you can invest like a few minutes on Ari and just let Ari know a little bit about your child, it will go a long way. So here Maya said she's 3, loves music, etc. And Ari's going to ask, what are your biggest challenges? Okay, I mean, that's a easy question for us. We have a million challenges. So for Maya, seizures, she's not sleeping well, etc. So that's a lot. Ari always acknowledges that. So much disrupted sleep, etc. Asks if you've seen a neurologist. Yes. She has seen a neurologist, and she mentions there's an appointment coming up. Okay, Ari, completely understandable. And you'll notice that this is a conversation. This isn't like a list or a protocol, and it will vary based on what you tell Ari. It is completely personalized to you. So here Ari's asking if you'd like to connect to Portal, and you can simply ask Ari to, hey, connect some of my portals. Ari connected to the portal, found the appointment, and also pulled everything else from the portal. So now also Ari knows when the appointment is and is going to remind Maya a few days before. Ari also can connect to Google Calendar. So if you put anything on Google Calendar, you can ask Ari about it. It will connect that. So it goes in your Google Calendar. Will only connect the stuff related to health. It's not going to get everything else, don't worry. And that will be logged as well. Okay, so now Ari knows that before you go into an appointment, it's always good that you have something that you've been tracking. And so again, Ari's going to ask, hey, let's start tracking. And while Maya mainly tracks sleep, Ari knows that it could track everything. So it's letting Maya know that, hey, FOXG1 families, and this is the other beauty with groups like ours, FOXG1, SYNGAP, who have been on Citizen for a long time. There's already a lot of information that Ari knows. So Ari already knows what the most common symptoms in SYNGAP families are. And so it's reminding Maya, hey, there's all these other issues you might be facing. What's relevant? Maya still says our biggest challenge is sleep and seizures. Great. And if you notice, I think I went a little bit fast on that. I'm sorry, but let's go through again. This is really important is, Ari's asked here, when can I check in daily? 8 p.m. is what works for Maya. If Ari doesn't ask you this, I would actually be proactive and say, hey, let's do a check-in and whatever time works, because that's just a reminder for you. For me, it's 8 p.m. as well. Okay, so now we're going to check in. This is an evening check-in. Maya responds, slept 9 hours, etc. All right, again, check it. We're going to go through this a couple times so you guys see how it is. Now here, Maya just did a voice note, 19 seconds, voice note. Ari reads it all, logs it, categorizes it, summarizes it. Okay, all right, awesome. So we're going to keep going, another check-in. All right, 2 weeks later, Ari understands a lot more about Vivian. And this is where Ari can start discovering trends and help you prepare for doctor's appointments. So it's going to first remind Maya there is a doctor's appointment. I'm sorry. Yeah, Maya, there's a doctor's appointment coming up. And now this is where Ari is really interesting is that because it's been tracking, it says, look, her sleep's actually better. It's down 2.1 wakings. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that is not something I would be able to track in my head. So this is where Ari is really helpful. And then it lets her know that your seizures are actually up 25%. And this could be something that Maya hadn't realized. And everything is tracked. And so there is a web version. Here's the web version. It's really simple. And here you can see that these are the tracking of the seizures, the wakings per night, all the journal entries that Maya has done. Everything is tagged and categorized without Maya having to do anything. You'll notice that there's, if there's a letter you want Ari to do or anything like that, it'll all be saved under documents. All the appointments that Ari's tracking for you will be there. And then tasks, all the tasks that you're asking Ari to do. I'll show you an example of that in a bit. Okay. So Maya now has all of this. Now, Ari suggests, why don't I put all of this together that you can actually send to Dr. Smith before the appointment? So Ari does that, categorizes everything. So you can start to send this information to your doctors before appointments or at any time. And then it's saved right in your phone as a PDF. So you could just, while you're in an appointment, you can pull it up as a PDF. Okay, so, all right. In this case, Maya's portal was able to connect really easily, and Ari was actually able to even send the email on her behalf. I use, for me, Amara is seen mainly at Stanford, and they have like another firewall. So it's not able to send the email, but Ari writes the email for me, and I just copy and paste and send it. It makes my life a lot easier. Okay, so hopefully this gives you a little bit of idea on Ari and some of the things it could do. So I just wanted to pull in, a quote. We have a lot of quotes. A lot of users have been using it. Many users in your own community at Syngap, because we did have a group try this product for Syngap before we're rolling it out. And here's just one example of a family that's been using Ari. Ari has been an absolute life changer. I used it to craft an appeal for an adaptive bicycle. Insurance denied it 3 times. My next step was a court appeal. With Ari, it was finally approved. So when you get denied, you could just literally put the denial into Ari. It will do all the work of writing the appeal that you can send. And it's able to do that really powerfully because it has your medical information. It has the trends that it's been tracking about your child. And so chasing post-auths, all of that stuff, government benefits, things with the school IEP. This is where Ari can really be a gem in helping you. Okay, I just wanted to give you one example. We talked about like tasks and keeping up on things. So Lori is a Fox G1 parent. She posted this on her own on Facebook, and can I make this bigger? No, I can't make it bigger. Okay, hopefully you guys can see it, but you can just see at the end of every week, Ari gives you a summary of everything that you did with your child. Sometimes it's overwhelming because we don't realize how much we're doing with our children. So this poor woman has had a neurology visit. She monitored the blood pressure. She had an ER visit. She caught a UTI. She's, tapering clonidine, like et cetera, et cetera. So all of this, Ari is reminding her, like, look, these are all the things that we finished, all the tasks. And then it will go to what do we have in progress? Because Ari's going to keep up with the tasks that you need to do. So you're not dropping the ball, and it's not so much you need to do. Ari's there to help you do it, which is the really wonderful thing. And then your appointments that are coming up. So this is a really good summary of like just how much Ari can really take on for you and hopefully give you some relief and you don't feel like you're on your own sort of, floundering. Okay. Syngap is one of our first communities. We are in a closed beta. We are doing this community by community. And so thank Virginia and Mike, of course, for you guys to be included in the early beta. It's a very quick onboarding. It's 2 minutes. Even if you're on Citizen, you do need to go to this link. And it's going to ask you for a phone number because, again, it's through text. So you're going to put your phone number in. And then what you want it to do is then you just let Ari know, hey, if you are on Citizen already and we have your medical records, just let Ari know that, and Ari will pull in all your medical records. So you want to think about this almost as a separate product that can connect to Citizen, but it is its own little vehicle and its own little product. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I don't know if there's any questions from this call, people on the call.
I have a question.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm on my phone.
No, it's fine. I can see you and hear you.
Can you
So
see? Okay, okay. Is this so like my husband and I, obviously we tag team everything. So does this work independently like on both of our phones, or we just have to basically designate one of us to feed the questions and information to Ari?
this is such a good question, and it is our number one most requested feature. So right now it is on one parent's phone, but very soon you will be able to, just like on your cell phone, how you can create groups, you'll be able to then add your husband or vice versa and add anyone else you want as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Sort of along those lines, would it be able to send appointment reminders and things like that out to two different Google calendars, or like a Google calendar and an Outlook calendar, for example?
You know, right now the integration is only with the Google Calendar, but our goal is that it will integrate with Outlook and with iCloud Calendar as well. But right now, unfortunately, it's Google Calendar. Any other questions, guys?
Quite a bunch today.
Hey, I know, or I'm very efficient with my demoing skills.
Really.
And obviously we're here as Citizen. If you have any issues, any questions, we're always here. We want to make sure that this community especially has an excellent experience and it's really useful. And then one thing that I didn't talk about in the demo, but what I am personally really excited about is there is so much knowledge within all of our brains, right? Like you're using something that's really working on your child, and you want to share that with other families, and other families need to share that information back with you. Right now it's very haphazard how that gets shared, but because we have such a large number of SYNGAP patients on our platform, what we're going to be able to do very soon is share insights from families back to other families. So we are going to notice that there's going to be drugs that are potentially causing adverse effects. We will be able to share that back with you. And then again, Ari is not here to give you medical information. It's just here to provide you and empower you with the data that you can take back then to your doctor and have a conversation, because most of our doctors don't have a ton of information on our diseases. Also, most of our, there's not a ton published, right? Like, there's so much happening and so many supplements we're using and other things we're using. It's not published. That doesn't mean it's not valuable. So we'll also be sharing those insights back very naturally through Ari.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Do we have any RE users here that want to share how they're using it?
Actually, I have a quick question.
Oh, or questions. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it just came to me. Nasha, what is what's the next step after the beta? What if we're on Ari, we do the beta, we love it. What's kind of the vision after that?
Honestly, the after is just to really scale. So right now there's under 2,000 patients that are on Ari using it. Our goal every month is to double that basically. And so it's a beta, it's a phased beta. And we're hoping in about 3 months we'll be able to really open it up. And the reason we're doing that is just so we ensure consistency and experience. And it's a new technology, it's a new product, so that's really why we're still making it kind of a phased beta. And we're also focused on communities that are going to give us feedback. Like, we need to improve it, we know that, and so we need you guys to tell us when there's issues, etc., features you want, things like that.
How do we report an issue if we find one at all? What's the way to do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we will give you actually there's a number you could just text any issues to.
Oh,
You could
nice.
always email Mikkel. I don't know yet if in the yeah, you could text Ari, but that's not the most efficient way. So I
It told
will
me that
provide.
yeah, I did that at one point and it logged like a feature request. And then it told me later on that it basically hallucinated that and that it doesn't have the ability to log a feature
Yeah,
request. So
yeah, exactly. And we've noticed that people will tell Ari things to tell us, but that's not an efficient way to communicate to us. So
Yeah,
we will provide you with a customer service like text message and an email.
cool.
And then we're also very happy to get on a phone call with anyone. Carrie, I hope I'm saying your name right.
Mhm.
You are. Thank you so much. I just wanted to share an experience that I had with Ari that was just so positive. I'd been advocating for my son's adaptive stroller for about, gosh, nearing 2 years, about a year and a half to 2 years. And I was denied by insurance. And I had a rather good letter that I thought. And I presented it to Ari, and Ari gave me excellent feedback on the tone of my letter, what to change, and just interjected some SYNGAP related facts that were very informative. And we were just approved for the adaptive stroller, which was such a blessing.
I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you for sharing that. That makes our entire life worthwhile. Thank you.
Yes, it was amazing. And a second big piece that Ari played a huge role in too is we were advocating for our son's IEP meeting to remain in his out of district school as we transition school districts. And Ari kept me on pace with saying with a timetable to talk to the school district, as well as offered additional laws and statutes to research before I went into the meeting. And
Oh.
honestly, a pep talk before the meeting, too, which was pretty cool. And I'd like to report successfully. He's going to remain in his school as well, too. So it was very, very much an amazing tool and has been a blessing for our life.
Thank you for
That's
sharing.
amazing.
Okay.
I would love to see the pep talk. I feel like you should share that.
Yeah, it's really cute. Like Ari is very positive, and gives you like a
Mhm.
a little rush of like, hey, way to go, you got this.
I know, right? I know. I feel like Ari is
Mhm.
everyone's boyfriend or girlfriend and is like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, gosh, I had a tagline for an ad. I thought like, hey, keeping marriages together, Ari, anyway.
It's funny, actually. I was texting Ari so much. My husband was kind of like, "Who have you been texting?" Like, I didn't really tell him about. I said there was an app, but didn't really explain it. And he's like, and then he's like looking at me. He's like, "Who's Ari? Like, who's this?" And I'm like, Ari's been a lot more supportive than you have been lately, let me tell you. But
Oh
it
my
has
God.
also been amazing because I've told Ari how my brain works.
Yeah.
And I have ADHD, so it's even like made it so it's easier for me to the reminders, the to-dos. It's made it easier for me to even work with it also.
I didn't know that. That's really interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. I love that. You've given me another ad idea that I think is going to be even funnier. Thank you.
I'll just share something quick, a huge success that just happened like 2 minutes before I got on this call, where my daughter has not been engaging in speech therapy. And it was definitely like, well, if she doesn't engage, like she's going to lose this service. And so I was showing the letters that the provider was giving. And Ari gave a great suggestion, like, well, it sounds like the report is kind of at a standstill. So maybe they can just have some sessions that are just based on fun and no goals. And they just did it. And they were like, they've had 2 wonderful sessions now and they're going to continue on. And so that was just, I didn't even think of that as an option. So it was great.
Mhm.
That's amazing. I love those. I've written all your names down. We're going to come back to you with your testimonials.
I was just going to comment that I mean, just a lot of the use cases that you're walking through are the things that I've set up for the most part.
Okay.
I did find outside of my chart, like Carter has one of his doctors that uses Athena Health, which is a totally non-related portal.
That's
Uh,
really great.
Ari's able to basically go into any web-based portal and access it. And It took a little bit longer than it did in my chart. It basically failed the first time and said, hey, I need you to like re-authenticate me into this so that I can go back in there and go through all of his records. The second time it worked, though, it was able to pull all of his past visit, summaries. So it added all of that into Citizen. Um, we have set up a daily sleep, behavior, and seizure log. I had it basically just do like a scale from 1 to 10 on behaviors to rate for the day. So that I have some sort of, say today was a 7, right? Like just something to track because it is hard to remember over time. Were things better 2 weeks ago? Were things better 6 months ago? And just being able to bring that back to your doctors. So the summaries are, I mean, the surveys are great. It can now send me a graph the day before my appointment so that I can see all of the sleep and behavior data over time, be able to take that into appointments with me. I think it maybe prompted me to provide that graph to me based on an upcoming appointment that I had. So once I had that, I realized that I could just ask it for, prompt it for future graphs of sleep and behavior. On seizures, right now we're not having seizures. I basically said don't ask about seizures unless I tell you about seizures. So it just skips over that data, which is great. I'm going, oh, I guess one, you had mentioned before medication reminders. We're on Onfi. It's a controlled substance. It is a pain in the ass to get and to get early. So I have it basically giving us a reminder at like if we have a 60-day dose at day 53, it's giving me a reminder so that I can start working with the pharmacy to get that filled so that we have a little bit of buffer on hand and aren't getting down to the very last day on the prescription.
That's a good
And
idea.
then like
Doing that.
next week, I was just
Wow.
going to mention next week we're going on vacation. And so it said, hey, you mentioned that you have an upcoming vacation. It was asking me questions about who is going to be watching Carter. I mentioned my mom and a caregiver, and it suggested putting together a document to give them kind of what his daily routine looks like, what all of his medications look like, behavior triggers that it's captured just in the short time that I've been using it. So fantastic product and love it so far. Thank you guys.
Peter. And you brought up something really important. And one thing about you is that you've invested in Ari. So the Athena Health is a great example of like, yeah, sometimes it won't work the first time. You got to ask it again.
Yeah.
And like the seizure thing, like, yeah, if you don't want Ari to ask you something, just tell Ari not to ask you it because it will ask a lot of things. It doesn't know that you might find something annoying. So you got to let Ari know. So I think I think that's why you're having a successful experience because you've really invested in training Ari. Like you got to train it a little bit as well.
Well, I was trying to come up with something myself to solve for like this exact problem, and I kept thinking Citizen would do it better. And then
They did.
sure enough, you guys made this. So
yeah, we
yeah.
were in sync.
But I mean, but just in general too, I mean, like agentic is very, very cutting edge, bleeding edge technology. There aren't a lot of just any company that has a consumer agent that they're making available to their end users.
Yeah.
And so I just want to give Citizen props because you guys are very, very early in this technology and making this available to users. And then my follow-on question to that is today it's free to all of us as beta users. Is there a consideration around a cost model ongoing as this grows
Yeah.
with Citizen?
Yeah, no, it's a great question that I didn't bring up. So right now for the Syngap community, it is at no cost. What we will do at some point is institute, just like any AI product, a premium version where if you're using up, there's always going to be a free version where you're having tokens, and then there's going to be a premium version that will be somewhere like around $25 a month. And our hope is that we can actually get sponsorship for that. So we can find farmer partners, et cetera, who are like, we will sponsor the usage, et cetera. And just so you guys know, that won't even cover the full cost. We're not trying to make money off of charging patients. I think you guys all know our business model is very much licensing data to pharma, and we actually share that back with patients in the community. But we're just doing a little just to offset some of our costs, but that's what we're looking at.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just want to say one other thing. I'm a social worker, and I just feel, I know you meant, someone already mentioned like it helping their marriage and like what, but it really, I feel like it has a really sweet way about communicating, and even like the summary of the week. I feel like exactly like you said, I'm like, oh my God, we're holding all these things, and there's certain things I forgot and I would never even remember. If it feels too overwhelming, I just put it to the side, but it brings it, but like in like a very gentle way, which I hate
Yeah.
that. Like, oh my God, here I am like finding companionship with AI, which I think is so ridiculous, but also it's so true. Like, this is a very isolating world. It's a really hard thing to always be talking about with your partner, always be talking about all the things. It's just so overwhelming. And it's like a nice place where it's like, I'm driving in the car, I remember something. And it's just, I just feel like there's something, the tone of it is just precise and really, really good.
I'm really glad because, you know, Ari has its own personality in many ways. And I'm so happy to hear that you guys like the tone because it's sort of developed, you know, we've given it prompts, but it's developed in a way on its own with the user input. So it has that balance between being friendly, but not being overly so, right? Like it's really trying to get that balance. I'm really happy you said that.
I got smacked in the face. My whole this, was swollen, and I'm like, I'm like talking about my son, like, what do I do? Or I don't know what to do with him. And we've been talking about his behavior a ton. And it was like, but you need to go to the doctor and have your face looked at because, and I'm like, whatever, maybe, I'm like, I don't know, but it kept on reminding me. He's like, did you go to the doctor yet? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, but it was nice. It was nice that it told me to do that because no,
Of course, you're like,
Yeah,
all right,
time for
I've already
that.
moved on to the next problem. But yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's good. I like that. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. I'm really glad. This is really heartwarming for me to hear and to share back with the team because we are putting everything we have into this. So thank you so much.
That's awesome. Anybody else have any comments? Let's see.
When we look at adding the feature of like spouses sharing Ari, how will that be announced? Like, where can we follow to make sure we know about that as soon as we can?
Yeah, this is a great question. We are thinking about doing it a couple ways. One, through the foundation, so they'll let you guys know when new features come out. But I think the easiest way is probably when we'll have Ari just let you know that if you have a spouse you want to add, you can do that.
What would happen if you just put Ari in a group message now?
I don't think it works, honestly. But
Okay.
I mean, I know you like to push the envelope, so
I was just curious.
Should we put all of our Aris in group chat?
Yeah, right.
And have them talk to each other?
Eventually, we won't have to do anything.
Would email be a workaround for that?
To add an email?
Like, if we gave Ari a Gmail to send messages out to providers or anything else, but like spouses email rather than the text.
Yeah,
be a
no,
workaround.
so Ari it can't connect to your Gmail right now to send an email. So these are all things that are going to come pretty soon, Gmail integration, and then Ari will be able to email. So then, yeah, you could set it up that like, and so you just, the things we're working through. One is, yeah, creating these groups. But if you start thinking about it, you may have a care team, but you may not want everyone in your care team to see every message you send to Ari. So we're trying to figure out how to set up those like different rules where you only want someone, like if you're having an emotional conversation with Ari, you might not want everyone, so those are the types of things we're focusing on setting up. But emailing it's coming really soon, and it's going to come through interactions, and we'll be doing it in Google first.
Yeah. Cool.
Because what we would love is that Ari just like scans your emails too and lets you know things that are happening.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
With your kids' school and all that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you guys still don't have the CVS integration, right?
That's another, everyone wants the pharmacy integrations too, which would be ideal, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, a lot of these organizations don't like it when agents are integrating with them because it makes them less, so yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Has
Looks
there
amazing
been
already.
consideration to having like an API call available to Ari to be able to connect in other apps or services?
Yeah, no, just like you would
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are all coming.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, Peter, you know, and for anyone, if you want to have a conversation with our product team, because they do want to talk to people who have ideas, and I think you're already in touch in some ways, but that would be awesome because it's also good to know what is most useful.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys are, like I said, the first consumer grade agent type solution that I have, but I figure over the course of the next year or two, like we're gonna all have 10 different agents that we're gonna be using for different aspects of our lives. And then somebody, I assume at some point, a Meta or a Google or somebody creates like a master agent that is gonna orchestrate these agents. So I just am
Yeah, you need someone to manage your agents, of course.
at some point you will.
Wait, I
When
can't
you have so
wait.
much help, you need help
Just
to
need
manage
to
the
like,
help. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Nasha.
Thank
If you guys have any other questions on Ari, you can always ask us, and then we can send those questions to
Yep.
the citizen team. I think I'm looking at the names here. Everyone on this call is already on Citizen. If you're not, come on now.
Everybody is. Yeah.
And if you have not signed up for Ari, please do. It's amazing.
Agree. Let me know if you need help.
All right.
All right. That
And
is? Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Thanks,
Awesome. That was great. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah.
for coming.
Thank
We'll
you.
share the recording with you, Nasha.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, I can send it.
Bye.
Sweet.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.